breaks you, I talk a lot about grief, and when grief breaks you between the before and after. The moment your life split in two is the before the loss, and after the loss. But what happens in the in-between? What happens to your body in the in-between? What happens to you as you realize that your entire life has changed? What happens then? Your entire life has changed. It is not just, I lost my person and I can't find my footing. It's not just, I lost my person and I got to figure this thing out. That's not it. Our life divides into three parts, and that's what I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about the three parts that our life splits in between, and in a moment, in a second, it happens. Your three lives are, three parts of the grief are the before, the life that you had with them before, the after. Soon as the thing happens, you're in the after. You are absolutely in the after. But what happens to a lot of us is we get stuck in the in-between. Grief divides your life into three parts. Grief divides your life into three parts. Hey, Miss Joanne. Grief divides your life into three parts immediately. The life which you had the life you had with your person before they died, the life you are living in the middle, and that's in the pain, and the life you're trying to build and regain back from. Each part changes how you see yourself. Each part changes how you see the world. Most people think that grief is only about missing somebody. It's only about missing them, or that it's only about the pain. There's so much going on in the midst of that pain. There's so much going on in the midst of that pain. Most people think that grief is only about missing them, but it is also about losing that version of yourself that existed when they were still here. Hey friends, my name is Sharon Brubaker and I'm a grief specialist, and I teach women an educational program on grief and loss. I get down into the mud with you and help you understand what is really going on. And today we're talking about the three parts of grief: the before, the between, and the after. What did your life look like before the loss? We have to hit that head on. We have to know as grievers what our life looked like. Friends, I wrote the book, That Grief Shit. It's an ebook. This is the last week that it will be free. So please, Wednesday or Thursday, it will no longer be free. If you haven't downloaded it yet, you want to download it, click my picture, go to the book and download That Grief Shit. If you are on any of the other social medias, you just click on the link that says click here for hope. Here too, you'll click on the link that says click here for hope. The before is the world that made sense. The before is the world that made sense. I talk about the before and the after. Your life gets split. The before is the world that made sense. The world that made sense. That's the before. It was filled with plans. You had some routines. You had laughter. Hey, Miss Debbie, so glad you're here. You had love. You had a rhythm. Your life flowed in a rhythm. The two of you, he was part of the family. She was part of the family. Our life, hey, Dee Dee, flowed in a rhythm. You knew who you were. Your person played a big part in that. And when they died, that version of you that existed died too. And that's not the part I want to talk about. Hey, Lori. Hey, Miss Linda. That's not the part I want to talk about. I want to talk about the tween. This part right here. This is the part we're talking about. Before, the world made sense, not mad sense. The world made sense. Your person was a big part of that. Whether it was good, bad, sweet, or sour, whatever it was, your person your world made sense. You didn't notice it right away, but the life that you built together was holding up your identity. Even if this was your child that you lost, they were holding up a part of your identity because you were the mom. You're the mom that loved them. You're the mom that worked with them. How does it work when it's your boss and they dies instantly? What do you mean, how does it work, Mickey? It's grief. It's grief. So what do you mean, how does it work? Tell me what you elaborate on your question. You may have not noticed it right away, but the life you built before you were holding up your identity. I'm their mom. I was his wife. She was my wife. I was her husband. And when it fell apart, it left you standing in the rubble. What used to be normal now doesn't feel normal anymore. After the funeral, all the calls seem to stop. The shock starts to wear off, and something strange happens. You wake up and you realize you're still breathing, but nothing feels real. That's the after. You're no longer living in the before. You are no longer here in the before, in the world that made sense. You are all of a sudden thrown into the after. You're still breathing, but you're in the rubble. And here's the other thing about being in the rubble. You're all of a sudden trying to figure out how to get through this. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Suzanne. Hey, Suzanne. What used to feel like normal is no longer normal. You are no longer living in the before. You have made it into the after. And what I want to talk about is the tween. So it was before the loss, after the loss. But what is happening here? You're aware of this. Here's the thing about the after. You are absolutely aware of the after. You are absolutely aware of the after, but you're living in the in-between. You're in the between. This is a space where you don't know who you are anymore. You're not the same person, but you do not know who you are becoming. It feels like you're floating through life, doing what you're supposed to do, but nothing feels right inside of this body. The between is where you live, where the old life no longer fits. It's been in a brain fog. Linda says it's in a brain fog. It just doesn't feel normal here. You're not exactly sure what you're supposed to be doing here. This is the part that doesn't feel right. It's the in between. It's all of the things and the decisions you have to make, and your brain taking everything over. You feel invisible. You feel like you're watching life instead of living it. You are literally having an out of body experience in the in between. You go through the motions. You're pretending. You're smiling, but you're feeling empty on the inside. It's not laziness. It's not weakness, but something is off. It's what happens when your soul is trying to rebuild itself after it has been shattered. You are not stuck. You are being remade. But what am I becoming? Who am I becoming? Am I still the wife? Am I still the daughter? What about the joy that we had together? What about the love we had together? What part of rebuilding feels the hardest for you? What part of the in between feels the hardest for you right now? What part of being in the in between? What part of this feels hard? What part is, Linda said, the brain fog. The purpose of the between, the purpose of the in between is to quiet the noise. It serves a purpose, my friends. It is to quiet the noise so you can hear yourself again. In this space, you are stripped down to the truth. The only thing that's left is the truth. Everything that used to define you has been cleared away. You're only left with the truth. This is where you learn what still matters. This is where the space is uncomfortable because you're learning to breathe again. You are learning to breathe again without your person. Who's here to teach you how to live in this space? Friends, I want to tell you something. This is ugly. This is hard. This is extremely hard, but it is where the rebuilding starts. It's where the rebuilding and the healing absolutely starts. The in-between, this spot right here, is not supposed to be a place to live forever. You are not supposed to put up a tent and camp out here. Build you a little fire. You don't set up camp here. This is the place you pass through. And this, hear me when I say this is the place where most of us get stuck. This is the place where most of us get stuck. Look, I was the wife. I'm the mother. I'm living this world. Everything makes sense. I got it. It all makes sense to me. And then that thing happens. It's a knock on the door. It's a phone call. It's your friend coming by. It's a diagnosis. It's him saying he doesn't want to be married anymore. I don't know what the thing was. We all have our thing. We all have our thing. The thing happens, but we don't want to go here. We don't want to go into the after. The thought of moving on without them seems so unbearable. What the hell are you talking about, lady? I'm not going over there. And so you're here. You're trying to navigate the in-between. You're trying to navigate the in-between of what needs to be done next. Everything that used to define you has now been cleared away. And this is where you learn what still matters. You learn what's still important. It is uncomfortable because it's supposed to be uncomfortable. It is supposed to be painful. When I tell you that grief is painful, I'm telling you the truth. The in-between was not a place to stay forever. You were never supposed to set up camp, but you do. A lot of you will just set up a camp, and I don't know why, but you do. This is a bridge. This is a bridge that's carrying you to here. And you will be, hear me out, in the after, you are forever changed. You're still his mom. You're still his wife, but you are forever changed. Suzanne says you're trying to go back to a normal that doesn't exist. You got that right. You got that right. To move through the in-between, we have to start by naming it out loud. We have to admit that we're here. We have to admit that this is our journey. Confusing. Very confusing. We have to say, I'm in the in-between. This is a season. This is a season that is giving my life shape. This is the part that turns confusion into awareness. This is where you give yourself daily time to grieve. This is where you sit in the quiet, in the pain for 10 minutes. This is where you let whatever needs to come up. Tears, anger, silence. And all of those while you're sitting them, you're okay. I'm in the in-between. Yes, you are, my love. You're in the in-between. Feeling is how we move it forward. Feeling is how we move it forward. But we are so afraid of getting stuck here. But many of us absolutely stay here. Don't we go directly into the after? You're in the after because you're already in the after. But look, the after is in the rubble. And there's after the after, right? What is the after going to look like for you? So, for example, Donovan died. Donovan, Austin died, all of them. I was immediately in the after. But what happens is, Miss Becky, a lot of us are refusing to go into the after because it looks unnatural to us. It feels unnatural. Tell me, who wanted to go into a life without their person? Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. Thank you, Miss Debbie. Nobody wants to go into a life without their person, so we resist. Here is where we're looking at this and this. We're looking at the after and we're looking at the before. A lot of us spend a lot of times here. I want this back. I want them back. I want them back. We look here, we look into the after, and we don't like what we see. So we can stay in the tween. And what I'm talking about, Miss Becky, is the tween. It's the ones where we get stuck. This is definitely a spot where we get stuck. I would have to say that there are a lot of women in this room that are already doing their work. They're already moving forward. You're going into your after. You're going into your after. It is admitting to rebuilding ourselves without them, 100%. And sometimes we run back here, right? That's why grief is so crazy, because sometimes we run back here. Who I'm really speaking to today is the people that are getting stuck here. They're just not moving forward. They're just not moving forward. Thank you. That's a great question. What might it look for you if you set aside grief time every day? What would it look like for you if you just set 5 minutes aside to grieve every day? What would it look like? Would you allow yourself to cry? Would you allow yourself to sit in the anger? Would you admit that you're in the in-between and you're definitely not going in the after? Listen, there have been grievers that have hung out with me for months that refuse to take one step into the after. They refuse it. They are absolutely not going to do it. There are people here, and you guys have heard them come onto the lives, and they say, I don't want to get rid of the pain. The pain is what I want. The pain is too comfortable. And they refuse to get rid of the pain. Grievers have choices. Staying in the pain is a choice. And it is 100% a choice that you can hold on to. When you're agreeing to step into the after, you're agreeing to reconnect with your body. When your grief hits, it separates you from yourself. When your grief hits, it separates you from yourself. It has to, my friends. It has to, because you have to review your relationship with your person. You have to review your life. It is one of the ways that we do. Intellectually and emotionally, we look at both parts. We look at both parts. For anybody who's feeling stuck here, in the in-between, simply moving can help. Walking outside, getting grounded, purposefully, I'm going to go out, I'm going to go stand on the porch. Take a breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Your goal is not to get fit. It's not for you to go exercise. That's not what I'm saying. Take a step outside. Consciously take a step outside and take in a breath. See that it's safe. See that it's safe. Your body has to remember that it has to be allowed to come alive again. You're not broken. You didn't go with them. You're not been given a life sentence. When your body feels steady, it will start rebuilding small routines every day. Making the coffee at the same time. Going back to making coffee, because he and I had coffee together every morning. And since he's died, I'm not drinking coffee. Lighting a candle before bed. Sit out for a few minutes every day. Structure gives your brain something to hold on to while your heart feels like it is dying on the inside. And this is the rhythm, you guys. I'm talking about the rhythm. I'm talking about the rhythm of life. And sometimes when we need the rhythm of life, just doing a small thing can make a big difference. Taking those sheets off the bed and throwing them in the washing machine can make a difference. Taking a shower today can make a difference. You guys, I'm not joking. I'm serious. Taking a shower can make a huge difference. Brushing your teeth can make a huge difference. It's the rhythm of life, right? It's funny you say that. I did that last night and it didn't make a difference. No, it's not going to make your person come back. It's about getting the rhythm. It's about going back to the things, right? It's about going back to the small things. It's about going back to the small things so you can get the rhythm of living back. And let me tell you something. I am not saying that you are in the before, your person died, you are now in the rubble, in the after, trying to figure things out. And if you brush your teeth, your grief will feel better. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's the small things. We're looking for the big picture, But sometimes all we can get is the small. All we can hold on to is the small. And sometimes the small make a difference. Sometimes the small things make a difference. Hey, Aida. Sometimes the small things make a difference. Lighting a candle. Every small rhythm reminds your body that life still has order, even when it feels like chaos, even when it feels like pain. Every single thing is going to remind you, hey, if I do this, maybe you're going to use their coffee cup today. Maybe you're going to wear their hat. Maybe you're going to wear their shirt. The tiniest effort towards self-care can bring huge benefits. Yes, Miss Suzanne. Yesterday we were talking about at the quiet table, we were talking about your grief story, right? Friends, we all have a grief story. Believe it or not, we all have a grief story. And our grief story starts on the day that our person left. Either it starts on the day of the diagnosis, it starts on the day he said he didn't want to be married anymore, it starts on the day that our person died. We all have a grief story. But here's the thing about the grief story, because we're all living the grief story. Your grief story number one, it's yours. It's yours to say, hey, Flaw Girl, your grief story is yours to say. And here, say how it goes. How does the rhythm of your grief story go? How does this feel? It's all about you. You're the one writing this story. You are truly the one writing this story. But the thing about the grief story is that it has to be witnessed. Your grief story has to be witnessed. It has to be witnessed by one other living soul. Just one other living soul. I wear my nephew's hat every night. I love it, Jess. Your grief story needs to be witnessed by one other living soul. Finding one person who will listen without fixing. When someone will hear your story without judgment. This is why grief was always meant to be done in community. It was meant to be done with other grievers. It helps you to see yourself more clearly. When she tells her grief story and I tell my grief story, we're not comparing our grief stories. We are witnessing the other person's broken heart. And by witnessing them, we are helping them. We are holding their space. When someone else hears your story without judgment, it helps you to see yourself more clearly, and you're also helping them. Being seen by another human being makes the pain more bearable. It is the one way that you can begin to feel human again, by being seen. Who in your life can truly listen without trying to fix you, without trying to make you feel better? Is your grief story being witnessed? As you are in the tween, is someone witnessing your story? You feel like you need to validate your loss. Absolutely. When you feel ready, you start experimenting with life again. When we're in the in-between, we start to experiment with life. Sometimes we try even small things. We go for a drive. Not far. We get in the car and we go for a drive. We try to read a book or a paragraph that's not about grief. We pick up the Reader's Digest and we read a story. We join a painting class or we join a class. Curiosity is starting to return to our old life. We start to become curious about our own life. Friends, you can't think your way out of this. You can't do actionable steps like standing in the grass and those sort of things and think the pain's going to go away. It's not. It's the small things that's going to give us from the between to living again. You got to live your way through this. And the only way through it is right through the pain. Right through the pain. You give yourself permission to change. You give yourself permission to change, and you also give yourself permission to move. You're not supposed to go back to the old you. Friends, when I tell you this, it's hard. You're not going back. You're not going back to the old you, and they're not coming back. The person you that lived in the before, she's not here anymore. I'm so sorry to tell you that. And our goal was never to replace her. Our goal is never to replace her or your person. Or your person. But we create a life that holds both of them. The love we had for them and who we are now. You're building a new self who carries their love of their person forward with them. And that's how we enter the after. The after is not about forgetting. It's about integrating. It's about integrating the pain that, and it softens. And peace begins a little bit. Ruby says, I don't like living alone. My heart to yours, Miss Ruby. Truly, my heart to yours. In the after, Miss Becky, this will help you with your question. In the after, you'll find yourself laughing without guilt. And this is where you know you're moving along into the after. You start to feel moments of gratitude. You start to feel moments of curiosity. You start to feel moments of hope. The after is where you begin to live with meaning again. That's how you know you're really entering the after. That's how you know you're really entering the after. The after is where you be able to live with meaning. It does not mean you stop missing your person. It means you learn how to miss them and still live. Grief will always be the teacher that broke you wide open. Grief will always be the teacher that broke you wide open. Thank you, Miss Debbie. The between is the hardest part, but it is also the most sacred part. It is where you learn to build this new identity with them as you take them with you. Listen, Austin is with me. He is in my heart. I talk about him every single day. I talk about him every single day here with you. The after is waiting for you, but you cannot rush it. And it is scary. And it will arrive and wait for you. It will arrive the moment your heart feels ready. When you're ready. I'm not going to push you into the after. It's not going to be like, bam, go girl, get in the after. People walk into the after themselves when they're ready. And that's where I talk a lot about, I don't know how long it takes. I don't know how long it takes. What part of the between are you ready to release? What part are you ready to release? The pain? The memory of that event? Before, where there seems like there's no love there, where you seem stuck? The between is not the end of your story. It's the middle. It's the place where healing begins. All right. We have a little bit more time. I'm going to answer some of the questions in the TikTok, but I want to leave you guys with this. I want to talk about how to move between, okay? How to help yourself move in the in-between. How to navigate the in-between of your grief story. Your grief story needs to be witnessed, but how do you navigate that, okay? When grief strips away everything from you, everything that's familiar, you feel like a stranger in your own skin. I want to give you a small plan, small actionable steps to start reconnecting to yourself. So number one, I want you to name what's gone. Name what's gone. Notice I didn't say name who's gone. You can name who, but what's the thing that is gone? You didn't just lose your person. You lost the world you built around them and the two of you together. You lost the role that you played. Ugh. You lost the role that you played. Were you their mother? Were you the wife? What role did you play? What routines did you live with daily? What piece of your relationship with them is your identity? And what the identity that made you who you were, it changed the moment that they were gone. That moment, I want you to write down what disappeared with them. See it on paper will help you to understand why it feels so empty. So I want you to ask yourself, what part of me went quietly when they died? Wow. What part of me went quietly when they died? I want you to, number 2, to create some grief time. Grief time is where we spend time in our grief. How much grief time are you doing? How much grief time are you doing? How much are you sitting in the grief? Your grief doesn't need to be fixed. It needs space. I'm going to say this loud. It doesn't need to be fixed. It needs space. Each day, give yourself a short window to sit with your feelings instead of running from them. If you are feeling angry, I want you to sit in that anger for a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you're feeling lost, sit in the loss. Say to yourself, wow, that's that loss she was talking about. I'm going to go sit in the loss for 10 minutes. Just sit in it. Allow it to be there. Cry. Create some grief time. Name what's gone. Grief, give it some grief time. Give yourself some grief time. You can cry. You can journal. You can breathe. What you're doing is teaching your body that it is safe to grieve, that it is safe to be here. Avoiding the pain is only prolonging the pain. Facing it in the in-between is going to slow it down for you. So ask yourself, what emotion is here right now? Is it sadness? Is it anger? Is it numbness? Is it frustration? And then grab it and sit in it for 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking you. Another way is to reconnect to your body. Hey, friends. My name is Sharon Brubaker, and I'm the owner of the Grief School. Is this the first time you're here? I am the owner of the Grief School. The Grief School is the place where healing begins. I break down aspects of grief, every aspect. Today, we're talking about the in-between. What happens before? Your life was before. You were living this life, and then it happened, and you got thrust into the after. Some of us are afraid to go into the after, and we don't go into the after willingly. But you will all live the rest of your life in the after. Thank you, Debbie. You will all live the rest of your life in the after, and you will be forever changed. So, but before we run into the after, we're in the in-between, and that's what we're talking about today. Number 3 is reconnect to your body. You feel like you're having, I don't know about you, but I felt like I was having an out-of-body experience. Reconnect to your body. When you feel uncomfortable in your own skin, your nervous system is out of sync. Gentle movement can help you come back to your body. A small walk, a stretch, a few deep breaths. Notice your feet on the ground. Just notice your feet. Just for 1 second, notice where your feet are. They're on the floor. Take a few deep breaths. Small acts remind your body that it is allowed to be alive again. Consciously go in there and say, I'm going to take a deep breath. What we're trying to do is get the nervous system and the body to reconnect. It doesn't take long. It's just you consciously saying, hey, body, I see you're here. I know you're hurting. My heart is hurting. I need to reconnect to my body. What does your body need today? Is it rest? Is it air? Or is it movement? Be aware of your where your feet are have been my mantra lately. Where are your feet? Like literally just paying attention to your feet. Why do I want you to reconnect to your body? Because I want you to understand that being inside of your body is safe. Being inside of your body right now is safe. Even though you are craving, it is safe to be inside of your body right now. Reconnect to your body. Okay. Number 4 is I want you to rebuild one small routine. What's that one small routine that you're going to rebuild? When grief takes over, time, it grabs everything else in its path. It just takes it away. Days blur together. The calendar blurs together. It doesn't. You can't even believe, it's been 8 Tuesdays since you saw him. You get stuck on that one point about Tuesday, and every Tuesday it's another milestone. Our brain is out of the moment. Our body is out of the moment. Our heart is in pain. What is one thing that can ground us is a small routine. Choose one small ritual and repeat it every day. One small ritual. Coffee on the porch. Lighting a candle before bed. Feeding yourself real food, not the bag of chips and the fruit snacks. Tiny anchors begin to stitch your day together. Getting up and journaling. Getting up and watching the sunrise. Watching the sunset. Sitting on the porch for 10 minutes. 10 minutes of silence. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what that thing is going to be, but build one thing for yourself. Maybe you're going to call your girlfriend every day. Maybe you guys are going to text every morning and every night. I love all of those. But you need one small thing. Maybe you're going to drink more water. Maybe you're going to drink more water. Christine says breathing and music. Breathing and music. I want you guys, number 5, I don't know if you guys have it, but I want you to get a witness. Now, your witness can be a stranger. Your witness can be a stranger. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, we're doing Grief Study Hall. Grief Study Hall is where we come together and we share. Grief Study Hall is a drop-in, drop-out class. You can come for an hour. You can come for 10 minutes. You don't have to open your Zoom camera, but just listening, doing an emotional check-in is a place where you can gather a witness. If not, grab a witness, somebody you know that you know is a witness for you. Let me describe this person because you guys probably already know her or him. They're the person that's been calling to check on you. They're not trying to fix you. You can share the ugly parts of grief and they still just listen. They're not giving you advice on what to do. They might give you small little bits of advice, but for the most part, they are truly listening. They've probably experienced a loss in their past and they understand how bad it felt. They're also done a couple of text messages just to check on you and you haven't responded. They are probably also the person that you didn't expect to show up. And they've shown up. You don't need someone to fix your pain. You need someone to see it. Talk to a person, talk to anybody who will listen without judgment. If no one comes to mind, record yourself talking. Hear your own voice say the truth. It helps when we hear ourselves say it. Being seen is so important. It helps us identify where to start and how to reform this. And when we get other grievers in a room together, something magical happens, I tell you. So I want you asking yourself, who can you trust? Who can you trust to not judge you? Who can you trust? Okay. Begin small steps. Begin with small steps. Here's the first 5. I'm going to go over them real quick. Name what's gone. I'm not the husband. I'm not the wife. I'm not the mother. It's not that you're not their mother, but that role that you played for them, the role, I will forever be his mother, but I'm no longer actively playing the role. And that, I really miss that. Give yourself some grief time. Reconnect to your body. One small routine and get a witness. Okay, number 6. This is a really good list. I gotta put it somewhere for you guys to get. I want you to do something small. Have a small experiment. I want you to try small. I want you to try slow. I want you to do it slow. Maybe some of the things I'm saying aren't interesting to you, but I want you to experiment. Do some small experiments. You cannot think your way through healing. You have to live your way through it. But try small things, things that you never thought you would try. Play the song. Play the song, right? Go to the place where you drive past the old house. Call the old neighbor. Try stepping out a little bit. Go to the hamburger joint and order his hamburger and see. Maybe you're going to cry all the way through it, but you're going to make it through. Search for some things and try some things. Wear his shirt. Smell his cologne. Sleep on his side of the bed. You've got to try some small things. You've got to try some small things, at least to see if there's how you're going to do in it, how you will survive in it. You got to experiment with some small things. Take someone with you and try it. KT Max says, I wear my mom's perfume. And ask yourself, what feels even a little bit better, a little bit interesting right now? What is something that will make me feel a little bit better? Can I do this? Maybe she ate vanilla ice cream every night, and maybe you're going to have a cup of vanilla ice cream. Number 7, and this is the most important, it's the final one. You have to give yourself permission. You have to give yourself permission. You're never going to do anything if you don't give yourself permission. One of the things I say all the time is, I'm giving you permission to grieve. And I know that sounds so weird because you're like, lady, I don't know you. You're not giving me permission for anything. But some people stay away from grieving because they haven't been given permission to feel the pain. Grief feels bad. It feels really bad. And a lot of people are avoiding it because no one told them it feels really bad. And it's going to be really bad. But give yourself permission. You will never go back to who you were in the before. You're not. That version of you that lived in that world, she no longer exists. Your goal is not to erase your grief, but to become someone who carries the love forward without the weight of the pain. Your goal is to become someone who carries your love for them forward without the weight of the pain. Change is not betrayal. It's healing in motion. I want you to ask yourself, what new version of me is starting to form? Who am I now? Who am I becoming? Because in the in-between, you are becoming in the after. Change is scary and painful. Change is scary and painful, and so is grief. It will take, Christine said it will take you to the bottom of the ocean. Yes, absolutely it will. Okay, friends, thank you so much for being here. Tomorrow at 5 p.m., I'm going to go live. And I attached a lesson onto this, and it is about moving on, how people expect you to move on when you're just over here trying to figure out, do I go outside or do I have a cup of coffee? And you're trying to figure out, can I move on? So I'm going to continue this, but with the moving on part. All right. Okay. Everybody in TikTok, hold on. I'm going to answer some questions for you. My name is Sharon Brubaker, and I'm the owner of the Grief School. The Grief School is the place where healing begins. The Grief School is the place that I needed when my nephew died. My nephew Austin drowned at the lake in 2006 on Father's Day weekend. This is what I needed. I needed somebody to walk me through, but I didn't have it. So I went out to find it because I really wanted to help her. And recently I wrote this book called That Grief Shit. And it is a workbook. And one of the things that it teaches you in the workbook is how to get the brain and the freakiness out of your brain onto a piece of paper. That's one of the actionable steps in here. But this book is amazing. Right? If you're talking to someone, say this next. I don't need to be fixed, but will you listen to me? I just need to tell you the truth. I need to tell the truth to somebody who won't shut it down. And if they're a safe person, they're going to understand. If they're not, they are going to keep trying to fix you and try to change the subject. But what if you're ready to talk to someone? But what if you're not ready to talk to someone? That's okay. You still can have a brave conversation with yourself. Here's the way to do it. Open a blank page and write. If I could say anything out loud right now, what would it be? Don't stop to judge it. Don't edit it. Just let it out. Turn on your phone's voice recorder. Hit record. Talk as if no one is there and you're not afraid of what you're going to say. Rage, cry, whisper. Let it be messy. Why does this matter? Because silence turns into shame. And shame is what keeps us stuck. Truth is the antidote. This conversation is not about fixing you. It's about releasing the pressure that has been building inside of you. When you say it out loud, you give your grief a place to go. When you say it out loud, you give your grief a place to go. You create a space for that breath, for relief, for the next step. So all of that is in here and more. Download it. Click on my picture, click on the link that says click here for hope. If you're in the other socials, you just click on the link that says click here for hope. All right, TikTok, hold on. I'm going to answer some messages from you, some questions. I love you all. See you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you, friends.